Imagine standing on a quiet stretch of border track at dawn. The fog is thick, the air is still, and history is holding its breath. It is 6 in the morning on May 22, 1915. The sun is just starting to pale the countryside around the Quintinshill signal box in Scotland. The Caledonian Railway line runs north to south here. The war in Europe is a year old, and today these carriages are packed with thousands of young soldiers heading toward the front. Somewhere in the troop carriages, Private Archie Burnett is busy with an ordinary morning task. He's writing a letter to his mother in Edinburgh, telling her not to worry, promising he will be home before Christmas. He will not make it. In a matter of minutes, over 200 people will be killed in Britain's deadliest rail disaster. In the massive casualty lists of the First World War, this specific tragedy would soon be swallowed by the noise of the Western Front. This catastrophe was caused by a routine administrative error, a missing ledger entry, and a moment of human distraction. Inside the Quintinshill signal box, signalman James Tinsley arrives late for his shift. His colleague, George Meakin, is still working the board. To cover up his tardiness, Tinsley begins a routine deception they had practiced before. He starts copying the night's train register from Meakin's handwriting into his own. While he writes, a local passenger train pulls up. To clear the main line for faster traffic, it is shunted off to the side, sitting completely stationary on the tracks. This schematic shows the safeguard, a metal collar locking the signal lever so tracks can't be cleared. Acknowledging two expresses, Tinsley fails to place this collar. Focused on his tardiness, he ignores the stationary train, leaving his ledger blank. Without the physical lock and without the written record, hundreds of tons of steel and wood sitting right outside his window cease to exist in his mind. A few miles up the line, a special troop train is making excellent time. It carries 500 soldiers of the Royal Scots regiment. The train takes a blind curve at full speed. Because the signal box indicates the track is clear, the driver has absolutely zero warning of what sits ahead. The collision is instantaneous. The massive impact causes the troop special to telescope into the forgotten local train, splintering the wooden carriages like kindling. Seconds later, before the dust can even settle, a northbound express train rounds the opposite bend and plows directly into the fresh wreckage. Beneath the crushed floors of the troop train, the compressed gas cylinders powering the carriage lighting system rupture. Sparks catch the heavy gas, and it immediately ignites. The shattered wooden coaches are soaked in fuel. Fire takes hold instantly, creating an inescapable, total inferno before anyone trapped inside has a chance to move. When the smoke finally clears, the scale of the destruction is staggering. 226 men are dead. The wooden coaches burned so fast and so completely that recovery teams faced a grim reality. They could not distinguish the victims from the debris. To put that loss into perspective, the Royal Scots Regiment lost more men that morning at a quiet rural junction than they would fighting on the shores of Gallipoli. For the families waiting in Edinburgh, there was no closure. The military provided no coffins. There was nothing left to put in them. An inquiry found that the signalmen's negligence was routine, and for the first time in British rail history, signalmen were convicted of culpable homicide for their role in a disaster. Over 200 people were completely erased from the world, their lives vanishing in an instant at Quintinshill. But there is one final detail about that morning that reveals the depth of the oversight. When signalman Tinsley arrived late for his shift, he didn't walk to work. He rode in as a passenger on the very local train he subsequently parked and then completely forgot was sitting outside his window. The true horror of Quintinshill lies in the fragile nature of the human mind, capable of entirely forgetting a physical reality experienced just minutes prior. If this story stayed with you, press like. Subscribe to Dark Archives for more true stories that history has overlooked, and hit the bell so you never miss one. Share this with someone brave enough to watch alone tonight.